Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to further explore classes a little bit, classes and objects. But before we do that, let's just spend a moment to make sure that we understand everything from the last video. In the last video, we created a class person and we created two objects or instances from the class. Let's spend a minute talking about this self keyword. Okay, I did a save as for that 01-classes.py. and saved as 02-classes.py. And what we're going to do is, I just want to show you something interesting, and that is that what we can do is, we can print the memory location. So when we create objects, or for that matter variables, they all live in an object address in memory. And we have access to that address by using the ID. So we're going to use this ID function, and inside of there I'm going to put objPerson1, and then let's try objPerson2. And if we run this program now, the last two lines of output should point to the memory address. And there we are. Two memory addresses represented by objPerson1 and the other one represented by objPerson2. And just a note, this location will change every time you run the program. And that shouldn't come too much as a surprise, I hope, because after we're done running the program, all the variables memory gets returned back to the operating system. So if we were to run this program again, which we'll do in a minute after we just type this verbiage here, we'll see that the address log numbers should change. Okay, and when the application finishes. And I'm even going to write a little note. Okay, so there's our addresses now. Let's run this again, and you can see the address locations have changed. So that verifies that every time you run the program, you are going to get a new address location for these objects that we created from the blueprint called person. So don't worry about the address changing, because when your program is still running, your program still knows where objPerson1 is and objPerson2 is, or otherwise we wouldn't have been able to refer to those properties, the first name, and for that matter call the method full name. Okay, the next thing I think we could try and do is we could try and change the value of one of the attributes within our object. And we have objPerson1, first name John, objPerson2, first name is Kate. So let's try and change that after we instance the objects. Remember, they're already created. So let's go objPerson1 dot first name and a single equal sign, right? A single equal sign does assignment. And instead of John, let's change it to Johnny. And for objPerson2, instead of Kate, let's change that to Katrina. Okay, and let's try and access the variable, or the object after we make these changes. And let's see if indeed we did actually change those attributes. objPerson1 dot first name, or we can just do the full name, I suppose. Print objPerson2 dot full name, and remember, you need the parentheses to call the method. And let's check to see whether or not we're going to get our expected results. And there we are, Johnny Smith and Katrina Jones. So we did in fact update some attributes within these two objects. So we learned how to update a object's attributes. And I'll just write a little bit of verbiage here. Python also provides us with the means to add attributes to an existing instance. So let's take a look at that. And the first thing we're going to do is let's just take a look at the existing attributes and methods. We have age, first name, last name, and we have a method called full name. And let's try now to actually add one. So we'll call it middle name. Middle underscore name. Use the assignment operator, and we'll change a middle name for obj person 1, and we'll change that to, or sorry, add that, and we'll say Jimmy. So now if we run the program, hopefully we have a middle name for obj person 1, and let's just print obj person 1 dot middle name to see if that attribute has been added to that instance. And if we run it, we'll see here that Jimmy does show up. So the middle name has been added to the instance or the object. Now, this only works on the instance level. So let's write a little verbiage here. Add an instance attribute. And what about obj person 2? We have not added an attribute there, so let's see what happens there. So let's go obj person 2. And we'll just print it out. Dot middle name. And let's try and run this, and let's see what happens here. Oh, we get an error. That's because we did not add it to obj person 2. We added to obj person 1. That is the attribute middle name. And as a handy tip, we can actually see all the attributes. So Python provides us with a magic method. Remember magic methods? They all begin with the double underscore, and they end with a double underscore. So let's take a look at a magic method that will print out all the object attributes. We go print the name of the object, obj person 1 dot, and dunder dict, and let's do that for obj person 2 dot dunder dict. And if we run this, we will see that there are all of our attributes and the values associated with it. And we can see here that middle name, it does not exist in obj person 2, but does exist in obj person 1 because we dynamically added it. So Python also provides us another means to examine our objects. And that's using a built-in method called dir. And we'll take a look at that in a moment. I'll just write some verbiage here. And the interesting thing is when we use the dir, we actually don't get the values. Okay, we do get the attributes and we do get the methods, but we don't actually get the values contained within the object. Okay, so we'll do it on obj person 1, and we're going to have to surround that or make that a parameter for this dir function. And let's run this and let's see what we get. And if you notice here, we get at the end of this Python list, we get our custom attributes and methods. But in addition to that, we also get all of the methods that this class understands. I just want to show you something I find interesting, and that's that we can use this dir function on the built-in classes as well that we have access to. So let's do that on the, I don't know, on an integer. int is the data type, and tab. And if we run this, we're going to see all of the magic methods associated with the class and all of the methods associated with the class as well. And you can see here that we have access to quite a few things. Okay, so let's also try to do that with a different built-in data type, a string. Print, and then we'll dir, and within the parentheses we'll put str for string. We'll run this, and we'll see all of the magic methods and all of the other methods that are associated with the data type. This comes in handy if you forget the spelling and or what's available with these different data types. Video. Please subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon.